Imagine this. You wake up in the morning, reach for your phone before even sitting up, and within seconds, your mind is consumed, an endless scroll of flashing lights, short clips, and catchy tunes. A video makes you laugh, another sparks outrage, another distracts you just enough to keep going. Minutes turn into an hour. You should get out of bed, but you don't. You should be thinking about your life, your future, your dreams. But instead, your mind is occupied by an algorithm feeding you entertainment, pixel by pixel, second by second. Now, multiply this by days, months, years. What happens when an entire generation becomes enslaved to constant entertainment? We tell ourselves that entertainment is harmless. After all, it's just a way to unwind, to escape stress, to have fun. But deep down, something feels wrong. You sense it, don't you? That vague unease. That quiet whisper in the back of your mind, telling you that you're wasting time, that something is slipping away from you. Here's the paradox. We live in an age where entertainment is more abundant than ever before, yet people are more anxious, restless, and dissatisfied than ever. Shouldn't unlimited access to fun make us happier? Shouldn't constant stimulation make us feel more alive? And yet somehow, it does the opposite. It dulls us. It drains us. It turns days into meaningless loops, where time disappears and nothing truly changes. But why? Could it be that this addiction to entertainment is not an accident, but a carefully engineered trap? Could it be that the very thing we turn to for escape is what's keeping us prisoners? That the dopamine rush of entertainment is not feeding us, but hollowing us out from the inside? Take a step back and look at the world around you. Notice how no one can sit in silence anymore. How people watch Netflix while eating, scroll TikTok while walking, play music while working. Notice how waiting in line for even 30 seconds without distraction feels unbearable. We can no longer tolerate stillness. We can no longer bear to be alone with our own thoughts. But here's the terrifying question. What if this is exactly the point? What if modern entertainment isn't just a form of leisure, but a form of control? What if the addiction to constant amusement is not making us more free, but more enslaved, distracting us from something we were never meant to forget? And if so, what exactly is it keeping us from seeing? To understand this, we need to go deeper. Look around you. A society drowning in distraction. People laughing at their screens, binge-watching shows, endlessly swiping through content that vanishes as soon as it appears. But beneath the surface, something is wrong. They don't look happy. They don't look free. Something is missing. The hidden cost of endless entertainment. The modern world has made entertainment omnipresent. No longer confined to theaters or scheduled TV programming, it now follows us everywhere, on our phones, in our pockets, invading every idle moment. What once required effort to seek out is now force-fed to us in infinite streams of content. And here's where it gets dangerous. The human brain was never designed to handle this. Evolution wired us to seek out novelty, but in the past, novelty meant learning something new, facing a challenge, or exploring an unfamiliar territory. It was a tool for survival, a mechanism to drive progress. But today, novelty is hijacked. The algorithms have figured out the perfect way to exploit this instinct, feeding us an endless cycle of low-effort, high-stimulation content that gives us the illusion of engagement without any real fulfillment. Carl Jung once warned that people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. Could it be that modern entertainment is the perfect tool for that avoidance? Think about it. The moment you feel discomfort, boredom, loneliness, anxiety, what do? You reach for your phone. You open Netflix. You drown out the silence with noise. And why? Because silence forces you to confront yourself, to face your fears, your regrets, your unrealized potential. But instead, you escape. Entertainment as a sedative. Arthur Schopenhauer described life as an eternal cycle of suffering and boredom. When we are not struggling, we are seeking distraction, anything to avoid the void. The modern world has solved this problem for us. It has given us infinite ways to escape without ever having to think. But at what cost? Dostoevsky once said, "Man is afraid of nothing more than being left alone with his thoughts." And that is exactly what modern entertainment prevents. It keeps us in a constant state of passive consumption, never pausing, never reflecting. The mind, once sharp and restless, now dulled by infinite stimulation. The soul, once hungry for meaning, now sedated by superficial amusement. But here's where it gets truly terrifying. We don't even realize it's happening. The illusion of freedom. You believe you're making choices, choosing what to watch, what to listen to, what to follow. But in reality, the choice has already been made for you. Think about it. The algorithm decides what shows up on your feed. The platform rewards content that maximizes your engagement. The entertainment industry manufactures trends that dictate what you should care about. What you consume is not a product of your free will, but of carefully designed systems that shape your perception of reality. Jean-Paul Sartre argued that true freedom is not just the ability to choose, but the ability to be conscious of why we choose. And yet, most people are not even aware of the forces guiding their desires. If you think you are in control, try this. Delete social media for a week and see how restless you feel. Sit in silence without music, without distraction, and see what thoughts emerge. Resist the urge to fill every idle moment with entertainment and watch how uncomfortable it becomes. That discomfort? That unease? That's the withdrawal from a lifetime of passive consumption. That's the part of you that entertainment addiction has buried. The great deception. Aldous Huxley warned us about this long ago. In Brave New World, he described a society not controlled by force, but by pleasure. A world where people willingly enslave themselves to entertainment and instant gratification, so distracted by amusement that they never even questioned their own oppression. Sound familiar? Unlike Orwell's 1984, where control was enforced through fear, Huxley's vision was far more insidious. He predicted a future where people would love their servitude, where distraction would replace depth, and where entertainment would become the new opiate of the masses. That future is no longer fiction. It is here. And yet, the question remains. If entertainment is our sedative, what is it keeping us asleep from? Imagine waking up one day and realizing that years have slipped through your fingers. Not because of some great tragedy. Not because you were fighting a war, building something extraordinary, or chasing a dream. But because you spent them watching, scrolling, consuming. You barely remember the things you watched, yet somehow, they consumed entire nights of your life. The shows, the endless feeds, the mindless entertainment, it was all so effortless. And now, you look back and wonder, where did the time go? This is the unseen consequence of entertainment addiction. Not just wasted hours, but wasted existence. But there's more. The silent death of depth. Have you noticed it? Your attention span, shorter than it used to be. Your ability to sit with a book, to focus, to think deeply, diminished. The craving for quick hits of dopamine, constant. Entertainment addiction is not just stealing time, it's rewiring your brain. Neurological hijacking. The human brain was never designed for endless stimulation. Every swipe, every new episode, every autoplay function is a hit of dopamine, a surge of pleasure that keeps you hooked. Over time, your brain adapts. The mundane becomes intolerable. Real life feels slow. Reading feels like a chore. Deep thought feels exhausting. The erosion of patience. You start avoiding anything that doesn't provide instant gratification. Hard work feels unbearable. Learning something new feels frustrating. Creativity feels stifled. Why struggle through difficulty when you can just watch something instead? The death of boredom and the genius it creates. Some of the greatest thinkers, inventors, and artists in history, Einstein, Tesla, Da Vinci, spent hours in solitude, letting their minds wander. Because boredom is not the enemy, it's the birthplace of creativity. But modern entertainment has killed boredom. There is no empty space anymore. No time for thoughts to collide, ideas to form, or imagination to breathe. Every moment is filled with content, and in that, the seeds of genius are suffocated before they ever have a chance to grow. The disconnection from reality. But here's where it gets even worse. Entertainment is replacing real experiences. Fake lives, real emotions. You cry over fictional characters. You celebrate their victories. You grieve their losses. But what about your own life? The truth is brutal. You feel more emotion for scripted stories than for your own unlived experiences. You know their names, their struggles, their relationships, but do you know yourself? The spectator syndrome. You watch others live instead of living yourself. Social media influencers traveling the world. YouTubers building businesses. Streamers chasing dreams. And yet, you remain in the audience. Always consuming, never creating. Always watching, never doing. And the longer you stay trapped in entertainment, the more life passes you by. The manufactured reality. You might think, so what? Entertainment is harmless. But is it? When was the last time you formed an opinion that wasn't influenced by something you consumed? Entertainment doesn't just distract, it shapes your reality. The movies you watch, the news you consume, the trends that dominate social media, all of it conditions your worldview. It tells you what success looks like. It tells you what relationships should be. It tells you what to fear, what to desire, what to believe. Nietzsche warned that whoever controls the narrative controls the mind. And today, entertainment is the most powerful narrative force in existence. It dictates culture, molds ideology, and quietly programs billions of people without them ever realizing it. You think you're making independent choices. You think your beliefs are your own. You think entertainment is just for fun. But in reality, it's a script written for you. And the more you consume, the less you question it. The ultimate cost, a life half-lived. And here is the final, most tragic consequence. Every hour lost to entertainment is an hour not spent living. The skills you never developed. The passions you never explored. The dreams you never chased. You don't realize it's happening because the decline is so gradual. One day you wake up, and your best years are behind you. And all you have to show for it is a collection of TV shows, YouTube recommendations, and a lifetime of scrolling. Was that what you were meant for? Or were you meant for something greater? Imagine standing at the edge of your life, looking back. Do you see a collection of memories, of risks taken, passions pursued, deep conversations, and real experiences? Or do you see a blur of screens, endless distractions, and moments that never truly belong to you? Here's the truth most people will never face. You have been programmed to consume, not to create. And if you don't actively fight back, you will spend your entire existence watching life instead of living it. But what if you could break free? What if you could unplug from the machine that thrives on your addiction and reclaim your mind, your time, and your very identity? This is not just about quitting entertainment. This is a rebellion. A rebellion against the forces that seek to pacify you. A rebellion against the part of yourself that craves comfort over greatness. A rebellion against the life that is slipping through your fingers. It starts now. Step 1. Confront the illusion. Before you can escape, you must see the prison for what it is. Ask yourself, how many hours of your life have been spent consuming content that added no real value? How many of your beliefs, desires, and fears have been shaped by what you've watched? How often do you reach for entertainment out of habit, rather than conscious choice? This is the uncomfortable part. Because once you see the illusion, you can never unsee it. The world has convinced you that entertainment is harmless fun, that it's just a way to relax or pass the time. But time is not meant to be passed, it's meant to be lived. And every minute you surrender to mindless entertainment is a minute you will never get back. Step 2. Starve the addiction. Like any addiction, entertainment thrives on easy access. It's designed to be instant, effortless, and unavoidable. You must disrupt the cycle. Remove the triggers. Delete the apps that consume your time. Cancel subscriptions to platforms that offer nothing but empty distraction. Block the sites that pull you in. Make entertainment inconvenient. If you must watch something, make it a deliberate act. No autoplay, no binge-watching, no mindless scrolling. Want to watch a show? Fine. Get up, walk to a different room, and press play manually. You'll be shocked at how often you simply won't bother. Embrace the void. The hardest part of breaking free. Facing the silence. When you remove the noise, you will feel it. Anxiety, boredom, restlessness. That's because entertainment has been numbing you. Sit with it. Feel it. Let your mind wander. Because in that emptiness, something powerful happens. You begin to think. Step 3. Rebuild your mind. Escaping entertainment addiction is not just about quitting, it's about replacing it with something stronger. Relearn deep focus. Read books. Not short articles, not clickbait headlines, actual books. Books force your brain to engage, to think critically, to visualize. And if you can't focus at first, that's the withdrawal. Push through it. Create instead of consume. Write. Paint. Build, train, learn. Do something that requires effort, not just passive consumption. Every minute you spend creating is a minute entertainment doesn't own you. Seek the real over the virtual. Talk to people, face to face. Not through a screen, not through messages. Real conversations, real human connection. Entertainment offers you an escape, but real life offers you meaning. Step 4. Become the architect of your own reality. Do you know what happens when you stop consuming the narratives fed to you? You start writing your own. You are no longer manipulated by trends and social conditioning. You begin forming your own philosophy, not one borrowed from movies and social media. You stop spectating and start living with intention. You become the protagonist of your own story, not just a passive observer in someone else's script. Step 5. The final breakthrough. One day, after weeks or months of breaking free, something profound will happen. You'll wake up and see the world differently. The colors will be sharper. The air will feel electric. Life will no longer feel like something happening to you. It will feel like something you are actively shaping. You will have reclaimed your mind, your time, your identity. And that is the greatest rebellion of all. Imagine waking up one morning, stepping outside, and feeling something you haven't felt in years: clarity. The world looks the same, but it isn't. Because you are not the same. For the first time, your mind is quiet. You don't feel the compulsive pull to check your phone, to fill the silence with endless entertainment, to distract yourself from yourself. And then, the realization hits you like a tidal wave. You were never truly free. Every moment of entertainment you consumed wasn't just a way to pass the time. It was a leash. A leash that kept you pacified, obedient, and too numb to question your own existence. You weren't just watching movies, scrolling through content, or playing games. You were being shaped. Shaped to think within limits that were set for you. Shaped to accept a life of consumption over creation. Shaped to believe that discomfort is bad and distraction is good. And now, you see it for what it really is. A trap. The final lie: it's just harmless fun. Society tells you that entertainment is harmless. That it's just relaxation, just a break. But breaks are meant to be temporary. This is different. Entertainment has become a way of life. A default mode. A shield against reality. And the moment you try to step away from it, you feel it: withdrawal, boredom, restlessness, anxiety. That's the sign of an addiction. And an addiction is never harmless. It is a form of enslavement. Because what happens when a society is addicted to entertainment? People stop thinking critically. They become passive, easy to manipulate, easy to control. They prioritize instant gratification over long-term fulfillment. They become too distracted to change their lives. And that's the real reason this system exists. Because a population that is entertained does not revolt. The hidden cost of a life wasted. Now, imagine yourself at the end of your life. You are old, fragile, staring at the ceiling, replaying your past. And in those final moments, you realize the horrifying truth. Most of your life wasn't really lived. You watched great stories, but never created your own. You escaped into virtual worlds, but never built anything real. You followed the lives of others, but never defined your own path. And now, there is no more time. The final credits are rolling, and you cannot rewind. What then? Will you look back with regret? Will you wish you had broken free sooner? Or will you be able to say, with absolute certainty, I truly lived? The ultimate realization: the power has always been yours. There is one final truth, a truth so powerful that the world does everything to keep you from realizing it. You have always had a choice. Every time you picked up your phone, turned on the TV, or numbed yourself with distractions, that was a choice. And that means, at any moment, you can choose differently. You can choose to live with awareness, to build instead of consume, to fight for your mind. You can choose to be present in reality, to embrace the discomfort, to forge a path that is uniquely yours. And once you do, the world will never look the same again. The call to action: this is your moment. Right now, you stand at a crossroads. One path is easy, the path of entertainment, distraction, and passive existence. The other is difficult, the path of consciousness, struggle, and real meaning. But only one leads to a life worth living. Which will you choose? The decision is yours. But remember this: your time is your most valuable currency. Spend it wisely.